Hi, my name is Marc van Bulck. I serve as the Associate Pastor for Family and Campus Ministries at Oxford Presbyterian Church in Oxford, Ohio. And I am a child of First Presbyterian Church in Sumter. I was baptized in that sanctuary in 1984, I think. And I grew up in Sumter. I grew up in that congregation until I graduated from high school in the spring of 2002. And then I came back during my summers in college and served as an intern at First Pres, directing their K-5 through 5th grade summer program for the summers of 2003 until 2005, I think. I would not be in ministry today if it weren't for my upbringing in that church in First Pres, if it weren't for the faith formation that I received from that congregation. I was baptized in that sanctuary. I was ordained as a minister in that sanctuary. The impact that they've made on my life has been immeasurable. I'll never be able to measure that or repay them for that. That's the grace that I received from that congregation. Well, there have been a lot of funny stories and humorous anecdotes. I remember, I think it was in the summer of 2004 or 2005, Trip Brogdon and I were volunteered into being adult chaperones on the youth mission trip. And of course, Trip and I were barely adults at that point. We were, I think I was still in college and Trip was a couple years older than me, so we were sort of technically adults. But I remember Chuck Staggs was the leader on that trip, and we got hit by some sort of terrible rainstorm or a flood, I think, on the way back. And Trip Brogdon and I were stuck in this tiny, rickety van for something like 8 or 9 hours together. And we just got so loopy and slap happy. And, I think that was a very special bonding experience for both of us. And, Trip and I have been friends ever since, and we're both pastors now. We're both we're both ministers in the Presbyterian Church. And I think, those experiences, like that and countless others, are just, that's part of the journey of, being part of a community of faith like that, and the relationships that you form, and the bonds that are shared. And so I'm just I'm very grateful for many of those memories, even though some of them I probably can't repeat. Well, I remember shortly after I graduated from high school and started college, I came back for a couple of summers, I think from the summer of 2003 until 2005, as an intern at First Pres. I was directing their K-5 through 5th grade summer program during those summer months home from school. And it was a lot of fun. Peggy Swan, who was the director of Christian education at the time, was my supervisor. And they really didn't have an extra office space for a college student to use. So Peggy shared her office with me for 3 summers. And, that in and of itself was so gracious and so generous. I can't imagine that it would have been easy to share your office with a college kid. But she did, with so much grace and so much kindness and so much generosity and hospitality. And that gave me a real gift, because that meant for 3 summers I got to watch how Peggy worked and learn from her about what the work of the church really looks like on the inside. And I got to learn from just that relationship and that mentorship. I don't think I probably realized or appreciated at the time how valuable it was, but I look back on that now as just this really wonderful gift. Well, I think my earliest memory of First Presbyterian Church is probably sitting in the sanctuary and seeing that beautiful stained glass window of Jesus praying in the garden and feeling a sense of awe and wonder at that image, even if I didn't fully know the story behind it as an infant, a toddler, a young child. There's something about that stained glass window that just captured me as a young person. And of course, I also have very early memories of being part of the preschool at First Presbyterian Church, and Joyce Zaleski was one of my teachers as a preschool student, and we're still good friends to this day. Her daughters, Erin and Joanna, are still dear, dear, dear friends of mine to this day. So again, just the impact that teachers and role models and mentors have on you during a very formative time, it's lasting. I think one of the things that I'm the most grateful for is the impact that the adults, the parents, the teachers, the volunteers, the mentors, the role models at First Presbyterian Church had on my life. And that's something that I think you probably come to understand and appreciate more and more as you get older. I think that's one of the greatest gifts that First Presbyterian Church has offered, really helping young people find their way in their faith, in life, in learning and figuring out who they are. I remember when my granddad, Lee Allen West, entered into the project at First Presbyterian Church to build the West Youth Center. One of the things that he said to George Jacobs was, if that youth center can make a difference to one young person, it'll all have been worth it. And the truth of the matter is that it's made a difference to countless young people. The thing about the church and the thing about the ministry is that pastors come and go, but those adults who volunteered to teach Sunday school on Sunday mornings to a room full of sleepy teenagers, or who climbed on that bus to go on that mission trip with you that one summer, or I think about Miss Brogdon sitting in her living room with Matthew Shaw on Wednesday afternoons taking catechism class. Those are the people that, you know, when I'm able to get back to Sumter and I step into that sanctuary and I see their faces again, our eyes light up and we run up and we hug each other and we're just excited to see each other. Those are the bonds and the relationships that last. That's the impact that lasts across the generations, over 200 years. And that's an amazing legacy. It fills me with enormous gratitude to have been fortunate enough to receive that and also to celebrate First Presbyterian Church as it continues moving forward into the future. So, happy anniversary, First Presbyterian Church, and thank you to all of the saints of that congregation.